Okay, so here are several barrels that I've used for multiple seasons. You can see they're pretty beat up, torn open. These are steel barrels. This barrel we're going to prep. This is an old barrel I found in an old Conex with a removable top. These are plastic barrels. This is a pretty big hole out here, but we've used this in the field as an extra barrel. And then, experimenting with shapes. This is another plastic barrel. Came fish herbicide came in this, or fungicide, and playing with shapes. As bears reach their paws in, they drag across. This kind of limits the amount of food. Works well for black bears. But we'll talk about the different barrels, right? This, like I said, the barrel top comes off. Does your barrel top have to come off? Absolutely not. So if you can't get a barrel with the top that comes off, it's not a big deal. To be honest with you, the reality is, when I go out to the field and I bring these barrels, and I have several of these barrels, the only time the top comes off is when I first set up, beginning of the season. I'll take it out there, and before I go, I'll WD-40 or grease up nuts and bolts, right? And I'll go out there, and I may want to put stuff in the barrel that is too big for the hole, so the bear can't just reach in and grab it and walk off with it. Maybe I'll make a big popcorn ball with, Jello and marshmallows, right? Big one. Put it in there so it kind of fumbles around inside, entertains the bears, keeps them there longer in between your visits to the bait. But then, after the season gets going, I've got to freshen up baits maybe once a week. I can get out there, and a lot of times I'm by myself, right? And so I'm by myself, and I'm hauling in. I got a 55-pound bag of dog food on my shoulder, and a 5-gallon pail or a 5-gallon bucket of grease or fry oil, and I got a gun, right? And so, first of all, I don't want to disturb the site too long. I want to get in there, get my business done, and get out of there, right? So I don't want to hang out too long. I don't want to disturb the area. And second of all, I've been bait meaning in there, right? So I have 9-foot grizz roaming in there. I also have black bear moms with cubs, right? And so I don't want to be there, with my back to the woods while I'm baiting and not see what's going on. And so again, I want to get in and out, so I never take the lids off after that, to be honest with you. I know guys do. I don't. Not to mention, barrels are jammed up into the tree, and we'll show you that out in the field. So don't worry about it. If the hops come off, great. If the hops can't come off, so what? It doesn't really matter. The only time it really matters. Makes it a little easier when I punch this hole through, and I'll show you. So anyway, here's what I do. I put my holes up here because I bait in remote locations, and I don't get to my baits, every couple of days or 3 days. A lot of guys got their holes down here. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Right? The limiting factor is what? You can't put as much food in the barrel, right? If you cut your hole down here, you can probably fit, a 50-pound bag of dog food. I cut it up here. I put 100 pounds of dog food in there, so 2 bags. It buys me more time between visits to the baits. And I have to bait up multiple sites over multiple days. So I like it up here. This one used to be round. You can see this is from a 9-foot grizz came in this year and tore up everything, including my stand. You see, we'll cut some holes in the back, so you have to secure this to a tree, right? And he just tore this right through. He tore this right through the back. So even though this is steel, that's nothing for a big grizz, as you know, or you may know. So I just moved the chain to the back and the front hole, and it was wrapped around. And then he just tore it to help. So, right, that's the downside to these plastic barrels, right? Here's a plastic barrel, the same site. Here's the same site where he stomped on it. This one was laying on the ground, with an end where you feed, and it ran out, and he wasn't happy about that. And there's no banging or popping this out. This is, you know, but that's what happens. So anyway, so let's prep a barrel. I'll show you how easy it is. Again, don't overthink it, right? I just use some basic tools. I like to use a jigsaw with a metal blade. You can use a Sawzall. For plastic, this is a little finer plastic. This was a fish fungicide barrel. This I cut with a knife. So I mean, it's tough enough for the bears. It's been through a season already with lots and lots of bears. This one, we use the jigsaw. You can use a hacksaw. You can use whatever you have. Usually works. But this is pretty heavy steel, so you're going to need a Sawzall or a jigsaw. So anyway, so I just take some chalk or a magic marker, whatever, and I'll just draw, you know, draw my circle. Okay, so draw my circle. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. How big? Well, you know, my hand's about the size of an average black bear, right? So, you know, you can see, I don't want it too big, right? But here's a bear, right? So big Grizz comes in, you want him to get his paw in there, but not too much. So, you know, about a hand size, a little smaller, a little bigger than your fist. There's no exact size. Okay? And then I'm going to drill a hole. I've already drilled this hole. Center. Right? And then all I do, I basically cut a pie. That's all I do. So, let's just, okay? So I'm going to do is take my jigsaw and I'm just going to cut from the center hole out to the edge. I'm going to use my jigsaw to cut the pie, just out, just from the center out, center out, center out, center out, center out. Once I have all the triangles, I'm just going to take this little maul and pound them in. You'll just see in a second. It's allowed to put some ear protection in. So anyway, again, just hang in there. We'll just okay. All right, that's it. And then, right, just see the inside. I'm going to flatten that down. And there you have it. There you have it. Now, if this didn't have a top, if this had a top on it that didn't come off, you know, you can still get in there with a smaller hammer. You reach in here and bang those back because you don't want those sticking out. The bear's going to catch themselves on it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do very quickly, I'm going to cut a few holes, two pad-eye type holes in the back so I can run my chain, right? Run my chain through so I can secure it to the tree. So, again, same method, right? So I'll just chalk it out a little bit where I think I want it. Here's the hole, probably right here. And then probably right here. So it looks like that. I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to cut just around there. I'm going to cut around there, and then I'm going to beat those in. And then my chain will run through there. So let's drill that first. Same thing here. It's pretty heavy duty steel. And these don't have to be used. They can be triangles for an easier cut. It doesn't make any difference. So, right, it's just the chain going through. So it really makes zero difference. But, flip this around for me. Okay. And then, and that's all there is to it. You know, and that's all there is to putting the barrel together. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of what you want to do with it. And then again, chain. Oh, as I mentioned, on the plastic ones too. When you use plastic, there's the bung holes in the top, right? So usually just hang this off the tree. Wrap this around, put a spike in the back of the tree, wrap this around the tree, right? And then, you know, it hangs. One quick thing, I like to use chain to attach my barrels. A lot of folks use ratchet straps. I've used ratchet straps. As a matter of fact, I mix and match ratchet straps and chains. But inevitably, if you're using just ratchet straps, the bears are going to rip through those. So you're going to get oil or grease. You know, you're going to get scent on those ratchet straps, and they're going to get chewed. So just keep that in mind. I like to use ratchet straps to raise my barrel off the ground a little bit, but I still put a chain usually through the holes. Kind of, if they do rip it apart, at least they don't drag the barrel away into the woods. Because then they're not on camera, and they're not in range of your blind typically. So anyway, nothing wrong with ratchet straps. I just prefer chain. So that's really it for barrels. Again, there's no right or wrong. You can use much smaller ones. You can use, if you're going to be able to bait regularly, you can use a 20-gallon bucket. Whatever works for you. Again, this is just one way. This is the way I like it. This is pretty heavy duty, as I said, so this is going to be a great Grizz barrel for the spring. So, okay, that's it. Thanks.